Podcast Network.
It did. Joe Cox with an up and out. Wide open. Touchdown. Israel Troupe.
Snap to Young. Drops back. Pressure from the edges. He throws near sideline. And it's intercepted. Intercepted. Keely Ringo at the 21. Off he goes. 40, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. Near sideline. Breaks the tackle. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. 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 Georgia.
Good evening, neighborhood. How about them dogs?
32, 18. Let the celebration begin.
Yes, that's right. Let the celebration begin, because guess what? You are watching the BLEAV in Georgia Dogs podcast on the BLEAV Podcast Network, also coming at you on Brinks.tv. Man, it's a celebration because you know the weekend is upon you. We got lots to talk about. You can see it over here on the sidebar. Joining me is my man, Israel Troupe. It's getting warm down there, Israel. You're dealing with the crazy kids now. They're off the chain.
Man, if there's any teachers or coaches or administration listening to this podcast right now, I'm going to say a special prayer for you, because if your day was like mine today, then you probably want to quit. I mean, it was one of them days, you know, it's springtime, so it's becoming a little rough out here in the teaching world.
Yeah, there's a weird vibe up here because it's just been raining all week. We got floods and it's like cold. So like everybody's kind of like in zombie mode right now. It's like just cold enough to be miserable, you know? Not like cold enough to where we're going to get any snow or ice or anything, but there is a little chill in the air, and it's just brutal. So when it warms up, I'm sure we'll be dealing with the same stuff. But like I said, we are the BLEAV in Georgia Dogs podcast. Follow us at BLEAV in Dogs, at TroopStar28, at Coach Burton 36, at Burton.Corey on Instagram. All of it scrolling underneath. So follow us, give us, subscribe to us on YouTube, wherever you find your podcast as well. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, all of the above. We thank you for joining us. We are brought to you by BetOnline.ag. Football season might be over, but not for long, because we're going to pick a USFL team here in a little bit. But basketball is in full steam, both NBA and college. From all the latest odds, totals, player performance, props to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline is your number one spot for all your sports betting needs. So if you lost a whole bunch of money in the Super Bowl like I did, or let Auburn destroy your parlay like Israel, like what happened to Israel, and you want to get back on the horse, just head over to the website, betonline.ag, or use your mobile device to sign up today. Receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to get started. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your source for hockey, which if someone can tell me how to bet hockey, I will forever appreciate you. Boxing and UFC odds, right down to Olympic coverage, is the best in the business, from sports right down to your favorite Vegas casino games. So if you're like me and want to play some blackjack, it's right there for you. And BetOnline is your number one online wagering destination. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play all of your favorite games. BetOnline is where the game starts. So let's get into it a little bit, shall we? Israel, we have a few coaching updates. We talked about this. We broke this on this broke on Monday, right before our Beast of the East show. So we got into it a little bit, but we did not get into the details. We're going to save a lot of that for tonight. But Matt Luke is on his way into early retirement. He's going to enjoy some time with his family. So kudos to him. Had a great 2 years of service, helped lead us to a national championship. So I know Dog Nation is forever grateful for him, but we have to look forward. So what does that mean exactly? Well, we got to talk about some candidates, right, Israel? What are you hearing on that front?
First of all, Coach Luke, thank you for your service and everything you've done. To come in with all the debacle that was going on at Ole Miss, and to come in and do the job that he's done at Georgia with developing offensive linemen has been great. I saw a couple of podcasts about I think guard play or something like that. But I don't think people realize how hard it is to play guard in the ACC.
It's hard to play guard anywhere in college and the NFL. I mean, it's a tough
think
position.
if we're worried about our guards after everything that they were able to do, now you're nitpicking. But anyway, Coach Luke did a great job with that group, and we got a national championship out of it. Great retirement to him, and enjoyed time with his family. Now to the fun stuff. I said this. Me and a buddy of mine were talking. I think it was a couple of days ago. Whatever the news first broke, I said, the first candidate is going to be Will Friend. Coach Friend was there when I was at Georgia. He's pretty much followed Coach Bubba wherever he's been. So whenever the news broke that Coach Luke was going to be leaving, that's the first thing that popped in my mind was Coach Friend coming from Auburn. We all know what's going on in Auburn right now. So I would think that would probably be the first look that Georgia would, the first direction that Georgia was looking to go into. But after hearing today, I mean, Baylor's offensive line coach, he's a really good head coach. He's really good. You've seen what he's been able to do at Auburn. And a former Ohio State coach, which I didn't know anything about until today when I was reading about it. So it's going to be interesting to see, because we know we're going to have to find a good one. We're going to have to find somebody who gets along and does a good job with offensive line, develop players and everything. So I don't know the body of work of the other two, but I've seen them while they played. The offensive line at Baylor was very good this past year. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Eric Mateos will I think out of those options, I think he'll best fit in scheme-wise to what we want to do. Will Friend obviously fits in staff-wise. He's somebody that you can trust. He's a technician, and you said was he there all 4 years of your time?
No, we had Coach Searles, who was the number one name that popped up on many websites at first, but Coach Searles was there, and then Coach Friend came in on the latter part of my time at Georgia.
And Searles, I mean, he's a name in there too as well. What about Will Friend? Why does he jump out as one of the top candidates? What is it about Coach Friend that makes him somebody that we look at and say, okay, we need to replace a national championship winning O-line coach? We've had Sam Pittman. We've had Matt Luke. Now, what about Will Friend besides just being tight with Mike Bobo?
When Coach Friend got there, he coached Ben Jones, Chris Burnett, Cordy Glenn, and all those guys when he came in. I think he kind of took over the room when he took over for Coach Searles. He's a player's coach. I followed him kind of through his career. And we had a couple of linemen from Tifton go to Colorado State when he was there with Coach Bobo when he was the head coach. So, I mean, to get a kid to come from Tifton, Georgia to Colorado State, that says a lot about you as a coach. So, I mean, just from what I remember and what I've seen, the guy can do no wrong. And by that, I mean, he treats his players right. They play hard for him. I mean, look at South Carolina those last couple of games. They could have pulled up to 10. But, I mean, they were still, rushing for 200-something yards a game. So, that just shows you what kind of coach he is. And having a very unconventional offensive line at Auburn this year, they were able to do a couple of good things. They almost knocked off Alabama. So they're able to run the ball, very effectively for a little while there. So, I think he would be a good name. Coach Searles, obviously, we know his pedigree, especially being at North Carolina right now. So, it's going to be really good to see, who they hire and who the kids, kind of take to.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think out of the two, I think Searles is probably a slightly better recruiter. But I think Will Friend will I think maybe does a better job developing. I don't understand the hatred for these two guys. I mean, I know that there's a little bit of, people say it's people claim it's the stink of the middle half of the Mark Richt era when things were not as great. But it's all an illusion to me. You know, I knew Stacy Searles personally. I don't know if he'd still remember who I am, but I remember having a few interactions with him during the recruiting process when I was there. When he came in, I always thought he had a good head on his shoulders. I always thought he was a really good offensive line coach. People respected him, things like that. You know, maybe things just, I don't know. I don't know what the deal was, why he gets so much backlash. But I mean, he's been hired by a bunch of great coaches, and most recently Mac Brown. I mean, these guys aren't going to hire slappies. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Yeah. You know, maybe the mix of I don't know, maybe the mix of scheme, maybe just a situation. There was some outside factors. You know, I don't know exactly what happened behind the scenes all the way, but everything I saw was always real positive with Stacy Searles, and I think he's a really good offensive line coach, and everything I've read about Will Friend, I think he's the same. I think it's got to be either one of those two or Eric Mateos. I think Mateos is going to be a great recruiter. I think he's also somebody that's going to get the guys to play hard for him. He's also comes off as a player's coach, and not to use that in a sense that's bad, you know, because sometimes you see players coach and you immediately think, oh, this guy just lets the players do whatever the hell they want. But Baylor, you know, there's different levels of why Baylor was good this year. Dave Aranda, number one, great leader for the Baylor Bears. I listened to Believe in Badgers, and I listened to the Chris Orr episode, and I thought that was incredible. And he went on about because Dave Aranda was his defensive coordinator when he got to Wisconsin, and he just went on and on and on about and just shattered every myth about Dave Aranda's personality on that show. So if you get a chance, after you listen to this, at the conclusion of this, go look at Believe in Badgers. My friend Matt Perkins and Maddie the Hebrew Hammer Bernstein. Go look at their interview with Chris Orr, and you'll get an idea what Dave Aranda's like. But I mean, honestly, with the names that are listed, I think we're in good shape. I truly believe that. And a lot of people are going to be upset if it's Stacy Searles. I'm not one of those people, honestly. I
think the people who are upset have never played offensive line. We already know that.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we're going to continue to live in the past, then what's the point of us continuing Georgia football?
Yeah.
I mean, each coach grows. Each coach figures out what they did wrong. Obviously, he figured it out if he did anything wrong. Like I said, I never played offensive line. So I can't tell you what happened or anything like that. But, I mean, obviously, you know, if Mac Brown comes calling, you're his first offensive line hire, which is the most important hire that a head coach can make, in my opinion.
And Frank Beamer comes calling.
And it's obviously you're doing a good job. So whichever coach gets the job, he's got, you know, he's got some hogs. I think he's going to come in and, you know, he has to rent the room, first of all, you know, because offensive linemen have to be the most complete group of any group on the field, because you're going to live or die by those five. You can't just switch those out like defensive linemen. So he wins the room. He develops those players. I mean, we continue to do what we do, and I mean, it'll be fine. So, I mean, everybody just simmer down. Let's see what happens. Kirby Smart's done a great job of hiring coaches who fit the scheme, who are proven coaches, who have developed players, who have won the room, their position group. So, I mean, I'm fine with whoever he hires, and I think it's going to be a great hire no matter what.
I mean, just look at who he's hired and just kind of look and see, okay, what, you know, you can break down every single hire. And the only ones I think are not good hires are the ones that have been one and dones. And, you know, I think relatively speaking, Shane Beamer is a great coach, obviously, but he was a one and done. So the impact of his hire wasn't all that great, but he is a good coach. He's good at what he does. He would have blown the lid off this thing had he stayed, and he may have gotten an even better job than South Carolina coming out of this thing. Then you look at your coordinator hires, Jim Chaney, Mel Tucker. They were the first coordinators under Kirby Smart. I thought Jim Chaney, for what he is, was what we needed then.
Yes.
He got us as far as he could get us, and then it was time for him to go. That's just kind of what he does, right? He's not a long-term offensive coordinator. His system is not sustainable. If you want somebody to come in and establish a power run and establish an identity, he's your guy. And he did a great job at doing that and taking advantage of Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel.
Mm-hmm.
It was time for him to go. The biggest mistake Kirby made was promoting James Coley to offensive coordinator. He was just in way over his head, which is fine. I mean, I don't know that at a place like Georgia you take that risk, but Kirby didn't work out. He saw that and he moved on from it, and then hired Todd Monken.
He was loyal to, a guy that's been there. He come in, did a great job for him. So of course you want to promote from within.
Yeah.
So I'm not upset about the hire, but he gave him a chance and he blew it up. So he had to get rid of it. At the end of the day.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, you hate that. You hate that it led to a wasted year, and we kind of didn't really get to see Jake Fromm really develop like he should have. But I just, you take a chance. What if he was a great coordinator?
What if it pans out? You never know unless you try it.
Right, and we could have said the same about his hire of Todd Monken. Like I didn't see that one coming. Right. I mean, he's a guy that was coordinator by title only for the Cleveland Browns in his most recent stop. He didn't exactly set the world on fire in Tampa Bay. I mean, the NFL's a different beast, different animal, but he was really effective at Oklahoma State in his stint at Southern Miss as head coach. So I was excited for that, but I did not know what he was going to bring to the table. And his first season was the pandemic year. You can't judge him on that. And then this season, obviously, we go out and win a national championship with Stetson Bennett.
Which during the pandemic year, we were still pretty good during the pandemic year.
Yeah. I mean, we were a disastrous second quarter away from playing for an SEC championship against Alabama. Not that we would have beaten Alabama that year. Obviously, nobody did, but that was again, that was a good. We got better each week with what we did, and so you just gotta. The point of all this, Israel, is you got to trust it, right? You just trust it. Man. Just trust the process. Kirby
he gets
Smart
paid millions of dollars to evaluate coaches, to get the opinion of his players, which in college, in high school, I mean, it's a little bit different because they're going to be in and out. But in college, I mean, these guys are there 100% of the time. They're going to see this coach forever.
Yeah.
It feels like. So, you get the opinion of your players, kind of what they're looking for. And, I mean, you move on from there, and if it doesn't pan out, obviously he's not afraid to let anybody go. So if it doesn't pan out, he'll find another one.
Yeah, so, exactly. So I trust it. I mean, the guys made 2 trips to the national championship in 6 years. Won one of them. Has won a conference title. Has won the East all but 2 years. Just ran roughshod over the East after his first year for the most part, and just has done a tremendous job at winning football games. I mean, I think he's got a really good. He's been in three Sugar Bowls, won 2 of them. I mean, he's
done a great job, and I think he's done a great job picking coaches. I mean, I think he made one blunder, which that was just a promotion. I mean, he didn't hire anybody. He just promoted the guy up. So.
I don't really like the word blunder, because like a blunder is like a blind shot, and you're just like you just don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I just think he made a promotion. He gave a guy a bone for his recruiting efforts and his loyalty. He took a chance, and it didn't work out. Wouldn't call that a blunder. I would just call that a swing and a miss is
swing and a miss.
It's a swing and a miss. Is what it is.
Legit swing and a miss.
It's a swing and a miss. He swung at a good pitch and missed it.
He gave it the old college try. How about that?
There you go. Pun intended, right?
Exactly.
So that's our coaching update. Fran Brown, we talked about him coming over from Rutgers. He's officially on board. He'll be making $750K coaching the DBs. I'm excited about that. But if you want to hear more about that, check out our show from last week. Some other news some other random tidbits before we try to not throw up talking about basketball. Eric Gilbert is in full swing now.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I saw that, and I'm glad he was able to, get himself together.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very mental sport. It can be mentally draining, it can be physically draining as well. So I'm glad to see that he's gotten everything together, everything he was fighting. I'm glad to have you back, buddy. What you were going through was way more important than playing football.
Exactly.
So you're still a part of this family, so I'm glad to have you back full swing.
Yep, and he's doing well in the classroom. He got academic honors, academic student athlete of the week this past week. So that's good. So I'm excited to see that. It's there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. We'll get into some draft preview stuff too. I'm gonna call Joe DeLeon from our very own BLEAV network. We'll get him on and talk some of the draftees, draft targets that we have for UGA. We'll do that here in the near future. With combine time coming up, we're going to break down some of our draft prospects as well. But let's briefly. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Yeah, I know.
Are we going to those two BBs?
Yeah, B-ball.
Oh, jeez.
What? Okay, I'll be brief. We sucked again. We got 17-pieced by Ole Miss. Like, how does that happen?
Ole Miss. They're better than us.
Ole Miss is terrible.
But they're better than us by 17 points.
They are. And, I mean, I didn't think our losing could be more impressive, but we were 60% from the field. We were 91% from the free throw line.
Still lost.
Lost by 14 to Texas A&M.
Did you see that? Did you see the old lady that was there making a sandwich in the stand?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
She made a couple while she was up there too. That's just how boring this was to watch.
Yeah, I mean, man, I didn't watch it, and I wasn't going to watch it even if it was on the screen. I probably would watch it through the back of my eyelids. So. The woes continue. I just don't know what to say at this point. March 10th can't get here. I think it's March 10th. Is the last game.
March 10th.
I think we'll play in the very first play-in SEC tournament game, and that'll be it. Hopefully.
What I'm telling you, what's going to happen? Okay, he's going to go to the SEC tournament, and for some reason, they're going to win.
Oh God! Don't tempt me with that. Do not tempt me with that.
And then, how do we justify letting this man go after the blunder of the regular season, and he comes across and wins the SEC championship?
Don't do it. Do not. Don't. No, we're gonna have a new coach. We're gonna have a new coach. Tom Crean. Not personal, but it's just not working out. So. Baseball. Yeah. More exciting stuff. Baseball.
Yes. They're doing really, really
tearing it up, man. They're off to a hot start. Our pitching is really good. Our bats are alive. Ben Anderson, it was 4 for 4 in our last game. I think it was Monday night, and just absolutely killing it. We're excited for a weekend series. Hopefully we can get another sweep.
Man, I watched game 2 against Albany. We were down actually in that game, and had to fight to come back and win on a game-winning hit. So I think we're fighting, which is good already. That's the hard part. One thing about baseball, you got to touch all the bases in order to score a run. To come back in and fight the way that they're doing, to be hitting the ball, as well as they're doing right now. If you're hitting the ball well early, that gives you confidence as you're moving forward. So, very, very. Our baseball facilities are looking really immaculate right now too, by the way. And they're selling beer at the games, which means it's about to be so much fun when the weather gets warm.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun.
I'm excited for our baseball program. I think our head coach is doing a great job of, one, keeping talent in Georgia.
Yeah.
One thing that we're not able to do in basketball, but and a lot of the talent that he's keeping are guys who are being drafted very, very high. And he's able to keep them at least for a year. So I mean, if anything, you show out for 1 year, you never know what might happen in that year. So,
right.
Great job by everybody that's affiliated with baseball right now. Softball is doing well right now too with their new coach. So I mean, there's a lot of spring sports doing very well right now. I haven't seen golf yet, but I'm on them here too because our golf team should be pretty good this year as well, men and women.
Chris Hack leads, his program is always top notch, and their facilities are outstanding too over there at University of Georgia golf course. But on the baseball token, next up is a series with a 4-game weekend series with Akron. Guess who is coached? Guess who the Akron coach is?
Who?
He was a guy that got in trouble for having a corked bat, and he wore goggles and played for the Reds. Chris Sabo.
That must have been before my time because I have no clue who that is.
Oh, Chris Sabo. Yeah, he was. He got in trouble.
He wore goggles. I remember corked bats because when you said corked bat, I was like, clearly Sammy Sosa is not coaching at Akron right now.
Yeah. So when he got in trouble with his cork bat, it like shattered and all this cork went everywhere.
Oh yeah, because when Sammy did his, it didn't shatter, but they just found it because his bat broke.
Yeah, his bat just splintered in half, broke in half. Now Chris Sabo's bat, like at the part where he broke it, like it just like it turned into toothpicks.
Wow.
He got in trouble. Anyway, he coaches the
Akron
goggles.
Zips. Was he pretty good? Because you got to be like a really good player to rock goggles.
He was. He backed it up.
Not everybody can wear goggles.
No, you can't. The old Rex Specs. I think he played second base and third base for the Reds. But he was a good player for them. He was a solid player. So if you want a little fun homework assignment, listeners, Google Chris Sabo.
The one thing I hate about baseball, not to cut you off, but one thing I hate about college baseball is, I watch softball. I watch it with my daughter, and my wife played softball as well. Mm-hmm. Softball get after it. I mean, you got Florida State playing UCLA and Oklahoma and Alabama. You got these teams that play tough competition early.
Yeah.
But in baseball, they play like teams from the north where it's still snowing. I kind of wish that they would kind of get, knock the dust off early and play some like heavy competition, even if it's not within region. You play like the UCLAs and the Arizonas and things like that of the world.
Well, some people do. Some people do. But like some of these teams are good.
That's true.
Baseball's a very equal sport. Baseball's a very equal sport too. So
Albany was pretty good. I think Albany gave us.
They have good pitching.
So
they have good pitching. So
I just want to see us play like a dog, like at the beginning of the season, just like
go out and play like
Oregon State. Get you some. You know what I mean?
Yeah, come here, Beavers. Get you some here. Come on, Oregon State. We have a hard enough conference slate.
Yeah, Tennessee and Alabama playing some really good football. I mean, not football, but baseball right now. Ole
Miss scored 48 runs in their weekend series. They only played one 9-inning game over the last weekend because they run ruled everybody. Like they are trying to bring back the old school LSU gorilla ball.
I was this close to going to LSU. I mean, to Ole Miss and playing baseball.
Okay,
it was real close.
So you'd be saying hotty toddy.
Yes, I would be. But now I'm saying go Dogs. And I enjoyed downtown Athens a little bit more than I did at Ole Miss.
There you go.
For that little bit.
That was the difference maker. But last thing about baseball.
A little bit different now.
The Grove is different. The Grove is different. I need to go back. I need to hit the Grove up. I need to hit the Grove up in tailgating. I want to see a tent with a chandelier.
That's legit.
Yeah, I want to see that.
That's not broken either. It actually works.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Even better. Like Stephen Willis, who I do SEC After Dark with, he is a diehard Rebel. He does Locked On Ole Miss. he is about as Rebel as it gets. So he tells me all these stories about Ole Miss. But last thing about baseball before we have a little fun and get into USFL, what really impresses me with this is the patience that we had with Scott Strickland, because it was obvious at the start. I mean, when he inherited this program, we were below the bottom of the barrel.
It was rough.
Like Fresno State in 2008 broke us.
Mm-hmm.
We were a few innings away from winning a College World Series. They came back and they broke us. And from that season on, we were never the same. We were a broken program that went to the depths of the SEC, where it was like we might as well have been playing Division III.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were that bad. And then so when Scott Strickland comes in, he has his vision, and he had done really well at Coastal Carolina. And he comes in and he has a plan, and he inherits that plan. And what I really like is the patience that we had with him, because it didn't go well at first. And even I was like, man, this is okay, well, this is not working. We're still losing guys to the draft. The pitcher, these right-handed arms we're getting are very mechanical. They're throwing straight meat pitches up there, and this is not good. Like we can't get guys out. We can't put runs across the plate. This is not going well. And then it started turning. You get one or two guys, and then the thing just started turning. We made the regionals last year. No, but did we make super regional? I can't remember.
I think we lost by like a run to
make super regional. Yeah. So we were right there in the mix. I think we lost who did we lose to? God, I can't remember. I had terrible.
Well, we lost in the tournament to even host. We were going to host a regional, but we ended up losing.
Yeah. So I think we lost to Florida in the SEC tournament, and we ended up having to travel as a 2 seed in a regional versus hosting as a 1 seed in a regional, had we beaten Florida. And we ended up not making it out of regional, which, I mean, I still think we had a very successful year because we didn't make anything the past season. But with Scott Strickland, man, he's done a tremendous job, and now he's got us preseason ranked number 16, off to a 4-0 start. We're tearing the cover off the ball. We're getting guys out. Mm-hmm. Our bullpen is really solid. Our facilities have improved. So, I mean, things are getting really, really good with Scott Strickland, and I'm glad we stuck with him.
Yeah, man, he had a plan. A lot of people who, all right, let's get a new head coach and everything changes. No, it doesn't change overnight. You kind of gotta go through the growing pains a little bit, kind of get what you want.
You got to be honest, not to cut you off, Israel, but you got to be honest about where you're at.
You are. That's one thing about our new basketball coach. He doesn't have to see that. I got to build this from the ground up, and that's what Coach Strickland did. He built it from the ground up. So I think I'm glad that Georgia was very patient in letting him, do his thing and get his thing back going. Now we're ranked. We're ranked for the first time since 2008. So that just shows you how good a job he's done. That shows you how good his coaching staff has done as well, as patience that Georgia's had with him. So I think they're pretty happy about that decision.
Absolutely. And I can't be any more excited. But so we welcome the Akron Zips in, and I think we're going to have a DH on Saturday. I think it's what I read in the notes. So that'll be fun. Okay. Before we get out of here, before we switch gears, I want to shout out our newest sponsors, NordVPN. The Russian bots, they're not going to be here. They heard about NordVPN, but what's more important than peace of mind, Israel? Nothing. And that's what NordVPN is here for, to give you peace of mind while you're online. And with all the threats that you face today on the internet, it is more important than ever to be sure that you have the best VPN you can get. NordVPN is the best VPN service offering the fastest connectivity, the most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure that everything you do online stays secure. Plus, you can use NordVPN on all of your computers and devices, no matter the operating system. With NordVPN's unlimited bandwidth, you'll never have to worry about a slow connection either, and plans start at under $4 per month. So grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/believe or use the code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV to get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan plus 1 additional month for free. It also carries a risk-free. It's also risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So NordVPN, that's where it's at. Also, our even newer sponsor. We talked about them on Monday. Israel, did you buy any athletic greens?
I have not, but I will be getting on the website in the morning.
There you go. So, same with me. Tons of people take multivitamins, right? But it's important to choose one that is top quality. With 1 delicious scoop of athletic greens, you're absorbing 75 quality vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right. Their special blend of ingredients, I got a little too excited there, supports gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and most importantly, with these kids going crazy in the springtime, aging. It's also lifestyle friendly and fits a wide range of diets. So if you're on the Atkins diet, or you're on the low carb South Beach diet, or you're a keto guy, or you're just like me, you're on the Bunny Boy diet, which is basically just eating vegetables and salads and stuff. There's only 1 gram of sugar and no chemicals or artificial anything. So reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/believe. That's BLEAV. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/believe. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So, yeah, I'm going to get mine on tomorrow. I'm going to order mine and have it there for me to consume while at school. I think that's Athletic Greens. I've heard so many good things about it, so yeah. I'm excited for that.
Hey. School.
Uh-oh. I think you need to have some NordVPN in your life too. Now I think those kids are cutting your internet. But USFL Israel. Have you looked at the draft? Have you seen the makeup of the teams? Are you able to pick a team at this point to root for?
I'm gonna pick up the two teams that I like. So I like Houston, but I like Kevin Sumlin.
Yeah,
I'm a big Kevin Sumlin fan. I like it. But while Tampa Bay look pretty good as far as it goes, so I think it's going to be a great league. Be fun to watch these guys go at. I can't wait to see the.
Yeah, Davin Bellamy got picked by the New Orleans Breakers, and several of our defensive linemen from the 2016, 2015, 2016 teams at Georgia got picked. I can't remember exactly which teams, but like Michael Barnett got picked. Some other people, like Tyler Catalina from the offensive line, got picked. I think he got picked by Philadelphia, maybe. But I'm looking at the Breakers. I'm looking at the Houston Gamblers. I'm looking at the Bandits of Tampa Bay, and somebody on Twitter made a really good argument for the Birmingham Stallions. So those are the teams I'm kind of got my eye on right now. Obviously staying in the southern United States.
We only have so having a team is going to be. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I just Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can root for a professional Bama team, so I don't know if I can do it. I don't know, but I'm kind of, if you put a gun to my head and said choose one now, it'd probably be the Bandits. They have Jordan Teamu as a quarterback, and I don't know, just like the makeup of their team. There's a lot of guys in this league that I've never heard of because they're D2 and D3 guys, and that's no knock to D2 or D3 guys. These guys just aren't publicized as much. So really, it's just going to come down to the eye test, truthfully, and it's going to come down to which head coach do I trust the most? Kevin Sumlin, Skip Holtz. Like where do you lie in that?
That's the problem with Kevin Sumlin. I think left for doors to get to Haley, offensive coordinator for the Steelers for a long time. I don't know as far as from a head coach perspective, I think the offense might be good. If I did just keep a head coach, I think I'm going with Kevin Sumlin.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Gamblers just to be different, but the championship games being played in Canton, Ohio, so that's fun.
Hopefully, it'll be warm.
It won't be. Well, it'll be summertime, so it probably will be.
Get it in before those.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Houston Gamblers, their draft. So they got Clayton Thorson as their quarterback. So we've heard of him. Let's see. They got JoJo Ward from Hawaii. They got Tyler Simmons, who will be onside for them. He was not offsides. A bunch of these people I've never heard of, but that's not to say they're not good players. But Dominique Davis, Dalen Dawkins. They've got Azim Victor. That'll be a good one. Tyler Higbee, not the Rams tight end, but the guard. So looks like they have the makeup of a really, really good team. So I'm looking forward to that. I think they're kind of sitting there, kind of sitting pretty. They had Jim Kelly at one time as their quarterback back in the 80s. They have a really cool looking logo. Their uniforms are looking solid. So,
for Bart, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. You're breaking up really bad, Israel. Yeah. Might be the Bluetooth failing you on your headphones, maybe.
Yes. Oh,
let's see. So Brandon Barnes from Alabama State. So let's look at the Bandits now. The Tampa Bay Bandits. Bandit ball. You got to give a shout out to Steve Spurrier his very first head coaching gig. They got Jordan Teamu. They were able to draft, and stop me if you've heard this name. They were able to draft Vinny Papale. That's Vince Papale Jr. Why do we know the name Vince Papale?
But it sounds familiar. I should know exactly what it is.
You ever seen the movie Invincible?
I have not.
You need to watch it. It's about the 1980, or it's about the 70s, 80s Philadelphia Eagles when they were really bad. They had like walk-on tryouts, and this guy from Philly, he's like a bartender. He made the team. It was like a really good story.
Wahlberg.
Yeah, it's Mark Wahlberg.
Yep, that's what you're talking about now.
Yeah. They drafted Mekhi Brown from Alabama, Christian Campbell from Penn State. Let's see. They picked It's always good to pick a running back from San Diego State. That's usually a good gamble. They picked Jawan Washington from San Diego State, so that's usually a pretty good gamble there. But they've got Jordan Lastly from UCLA at wide receiver, so that's good. They've got some weapons for Todd Haley to use at his disposal. So again, I'm not going to run through the entire roster, but again, pretty solid squad there. So I don't know if we're going to come to a conclusion on this today, but I think we can get close. So, early favorite, Houston Gamblers. I really like to make up their squad. I'm going to examine each squad. Hopefully we'll get to see. I think the first games are in April, so we'll have plenty of time to discuss that as well. So, but any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Just be on news, but everything will be fine. Hopefully, Thursday night we fine.
There you go. Well, we are the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. We thank you for listening. Our prayers go out to all the people in the Ukraine as well, going through what they're going through as far as getting invaded. So we hope all of that gets resolved. Not to go political, but that's not terribly political. But find us on YouTube. Find us anywhere you find your podcast: Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, those type places. Subscribe, comment, leave some feedback. Follow us on social media. And from the looks of our Facebook page, it looks like you're finding us there just fine. So find us in the other spots too. And we look forward to continuing to grow this thing. Baseball is in full swing, so we'll get a little bit of that. Football's always going. So we'll hopefully get some stuff there too as well. But we are the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast, presented by betonline.ag, presented by NordVPN and Athletic Greens. We thank you for watching. We look to see you back here next week. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. And as always, of course, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
This is Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the BLEAV Podcast